Hey, welcome back at yet another video. I'm Wouter from BananaboxTech and today I will talk a little bit about the Google Home app. The Google Home app got recently updated, is now even more easy to use. Let's open the app and have a look. On the home screen of the app you can immediately see a couple of options. First, there are two buttons to turn lights on or off. When we tap on, you can see clearly a list of all the rooms I have set up and a button to turn every light on, and the same exact is for off. So you have turn off all lights and all the separate rooms. As you can see, there is a slight GUI issue. I've noticed this on Samsung's, OnePlus phones and on my personal phone. So your mileage may vary, but I hope Google will fix this soon. So those two buttons are just to turn lights on or off. So the next one is the play button. This doesn't really actually play music, but lets you control the music that you're playing through your Google Home or Google Home Mini. As you can see, the same GUI error still exists, but here you can see the list of all the devices and speaker groups. The speaker groups I will come on back later. We have now playing some music and the studio speaker. I'll go to this one. As you can see, it's the studio speaker. What song is playing? I can skip ahead. I can pause the song, I can go one back. I can go back 30 seconds. I can also stop casting from this app. But also when you have Spotify installed, on this phone I don't have Spotify, but there will be an extra button that you can go immediately to Spotify to this current song that is playing. Here we got the equalizer settings from the Google Home Mini. You can alter the bass and the treble. I won't be doing this because the Google Home Mini doesn't really sound different in my opinion when you change this. So let's go back. In here there is the settings tab of the Google Home and the Google Home Mini. This one I can cover in a different video if you want, but for now I will leave this behind. You got also help and feedback, but that's bringing you to the Google Docs or to the Google documentation of the Google Home app. So let's go back. So that was the play button. The next one is the broadcast button. The broadcast is a feature that we use most often in our house. It's when we try to reach each other and we don't read our WhatsApps or we don't hear each other, then we just broadcast a message throughout the house. And most of the times you can see the LEDs blinking on the Google Home Mini and you can hear the voice message quite clear. So when you tap on broadcast, you only have to wait till it says what's the message, and then you have to say your message and it gets broadcasted. So let's try this one. Hello. Okay. As you can clearly see, it asked me what's your message. I said hello, and then you can see alright broadcasting now, so it acknowledges that you said a message and it says something back. So the next one is a pretty neat feature. It's routines. Currently I have set up 3 bridges in my house. I got the Trust Smart Home, I got IKEA Thread-Free, and I got the Philips Hue. Normally you will control them by 3 separate apps. And in those 3 apps you can set up some scenes, but like in the living room I got Philips Hue, I got Thread-Free and I got Trust Smart Home. So to control my living room I have to control it via 3 apps. The Google Home app is really designed to take over those apps and to make it a new central hub. So with routines I can make scenes and I can use all the devices that are linked to my Google account. So even more than those 3 hubs, like with Wi-Fi bulbs or different kind of services, I can connect to them, I can use them within the routines. So let's open routines. Here you can see the couple of options to play routines on, and you can see the pre-made ones and the custom ones. But first, to play routines on this device. So if we see, we get a whole list. Play routines is actually currently on this device, so when I give a command to my phone, it will play on my device. But I can also choose to play on different devices. This means that when I give it a command, like the upstairs lights on, currently when I give the command to my phone, it will play it on my phone. But for instance, when upstairs lights on also should trigger playing some music, I don't want to have that on my phone, so I can choose the bedroom speaker. So every time I give the command upstairs lights on to my phone, so to this device only that is, then it will play to the studio speaker or to the bedroom speaker, whatever I set up. But this is for all routines, so you should pick carefully. So if it's only one routine you use that should play on a different device, that's too bad. You have to give the command directly to that device. But if you want all routines to play on a different device, so for the audio feedback or for the music that you want to play, then you can select a different one here. So let's press done. Here you can see the routines that are already set up. So let's manage some routines. Currently, it's not possible in the apps or in the Google Home app to define a level in your building. So for instance, the downstairs, the upstairs, the attic, the basement. So you can create rooms. But the upstairs, we have a studio, we have a spare room, we have a bedroom, we have a bathroom. And I want to have those as separate rooms. You can create a new room that you call like upstairs, but you can't put items in both rooms. So what I actually did is create the downstairs and the upstairs as routines. So I created the downstairs and the upstairs to create separate levels in the house. So let's go into a custom one. As you can see, the routine is set up in multiple parts. So you got a when, my assistant should do, and then play. So at when, so when I say downstairs lights off or downstairs lights off, please. Let's tap on this one. You can see we can edit the commands and we can add some new. You can pick a whole list with all the different commands. So as you can see, I want to say it or be polite. So that's possible then. And so when I say downstairs lights off or downstairs lights off, please, I can set an additional parameters, so the time and day. So here I can choose from Monday till Friday and then choose a time for the routine, but then the routine will be executed automatically. And you can change the speaker. So before, if you give the command, it can only be played to a certain device for all commands. In here, if you do it automatically, you can assign it to a different speaker instead of your phone. So this is just for making it automatically and also really receive a notification when it starts. Let's go one back, discard. So when I say the downstairs lights off or downstairs lights off, please, without a time and day, my assistant should do, so in my case it should adjust lights, plugs and more, and also say something. But first, adjust lights. As you can see here, all the lights that are in my house and all the devices are just summed up here with the prefix of your room that it's assigned to. So as you can see, for the downstairs, the dining room should turn off and the living room should turn off. So if we tab on one, you can see don't change, turn off or turn on. So if you want, for instance, to turn everything downstairs off, the upstairs shouldn't be changing, but you can change whatever you want. So let's go back one. Here, say something. I like my Google Home to acknowledge what I said. So when I say downstairs lights off and she does execute the command, I want her to tell me turning all lights downstairs off. So I know she understood me and she's executing the command that I gave. So that's basically my custom command. I have a couple of them set up. We can also take a look at like good morning. That's a ready-made one. This is for everybody. So everybody that has the Google Home app installed, you get a couple of them pre-made. So when I say good morning, tell me about my day, or I'm up, it will actually do, you can select a couple of them, but it should tell me about my commute. So when you tab in here, I won't show because it has my private address and the work address where I work. You just fill in two addresses, and when I say the good morning, it will just tell me about how long my commute is, maybe if there is a traffic jam or some roadworks ahead. And at the end, I want to play some news. So when we go in here, I'm from the Netherlands. We got a couple of Dutch news sources, but it's the only one that I sometimes use. So when I say the good morning, it first tells me about my commute and then tells me about the news. You can add a couple of sources. You can even change the country. So if you want to, like me, I work in Germany, so I can also select German news and then so I can hear some German news. So let's go back. Yeah, that's basically it. As you can see here, you can play music, news, radio, podcast, audiobooks, or nothing. I can adjust a lot, it can tell me a lot, so that's basically it. So those are the routines, the custom ones in ready-made. So for the last step I will show you how to make one. So we tap on the plus icon. So this is a basic empty routine. So when, as we discussed, you should give it a command. So you can say we will be turn on the garden lights. I don't have anything set up, so for now I don't know what to make of it. So the command is turn on garden lights. We could also add like turn on garden lights please to be polite. You can set a time and day to make it a scheduled one. So when you now say turn on garden lights, the garden light should turn on. So we can select a couple of things. So my assistant should do, when we tap on it, choose popular actions. You can also define your own action, but there are a couple of them pre-made. So as we just saw, the adjust lights, plugs and more. We have tell me about the weather, broadcast I'm home, so also broadcast feature is possible. Your devices. So if you have some kids and you just arrived home, you can just put in the broadcast I'm home when you arrive every day at the same time or whatever you want. So for now, adjust lights, plugs and more. We tap on here, we choose a couple of them, turn on. We have this one to turn off and turn off, and the other ones we don't want. So for now, this is everything that we want it to do, so only the adjust lights, plugs and more. Then we tap on add. Now it's added to the new routine. So as you can see, I say turn on garden lights and it will turn on some lights and turn off actually some also. So we can define another action or just play media. So then we can say, okay, play some news. We tap here, it automatically knows what my preference is for the news source. So this one, so we go back one. Also added, and now we created a whole new routine. So turn on the garden lights will turn off and turn on some lights and play some news. So tap on OK. So we created a new one. So you actually can see it here. We can go in it, we can still edit it, we can throw it away, and this is the way you can create a new routine. As I said before, it's especially handy when you have multiple bridges set up or Wi-Fi bulbs from different services. And you can combine them all within one command. You can turn a lot of them on or off or just control them the way you want. So for now I will be throwing this one away. I don't have garden lights set up yet. So delete routine. As you can see, it's now deleted and everything is back to normal. Also one thing to note, routines are personal. So the routines are per Google account. So I invited my girlfriend into this account, in the Google Home account, but she can't see my routines. Those are really personal. So if she wants to use the same, I have to do exactly the same steps I did here, but then on her account on her phone. So it would be nice if there was a sharing possibility. So if I could select some and then say share with different roommates. Because now if I get a couple of them, first I had like 10 of those. I have to set them up on my phone, on my girlfriend's phone, and maybe on a different phone for testing or for this YouTube video. I had to do it as well. So for now, I only have set it up on my phone, but I hope in the future it's possible to share them to other phones. So let's go back. This was for me the most important feature, the routines. I use it on a daily basis. The next one is the add button. This is also very important if you have some new Google Home devices or some new services you want to connect. So set up device. It actually gives you two options. You can set up the Google Home Chromecast or a different one from Google, or connect a service. I can show you briefly, but I don't have a new device to set up. So you choose a home. I got the home called home, and then it will look for devices, but it won't actually find one because I don't have a new device. But it's really basic, and the steps, it will really give you the information what you have to do. So the next one is, have you already set something up? So like Philips Hue. Here you can see I have Philips Hue, Trust Smart Home and Thread Free. I got a couple of devices, but as you can see it's a whole list with all different brands. So from cheap Chinese till the most expensive one, you can add the service. Just tap on in, log in, and then it's connected. So you can set up some new devices or connect some services. That's basically it to get started. So let's get back. The invite home members. So if you set everything up and you want to invite your girlfriend or whoever you want, you can invite her here. As you can see, just enter their email address, their Gmail address or their Google account address, and then they can also control the home. So let's go back. Create speaker group. This one is what I mentioned before with the play button. Here you can create a speaker group. So like for the upstairs, now I can just select the studio speaker, the office and the bedroom. Those are all upstairs, so I can select those. And a home group, I will for now call it home group upstairs because I already got an upstairs defined. So I can tap on save and we will see that one later, so please keep in mind. Create a new home for if you have like 2 houses or you got an office or something, you want to set it up separately from your current home. The music and audio, that's for the services like the YouTube Music, the Play Music, the Spotify that you want to add. So I got currently my Spotify account linked to it. You got also other music services, but I only use Spotify. So let's go back. The same exact is for videos and photos. I got my Google Photos account and my Netflix attached to it. So when I give a command like play a movie or something, that will play via Netflix or via YouTube, wherever it can find the movie. So that's basically the add and manage option. We can go back. So let's go down. At the bottom of this screen you can find the speaker groups. As you saw, I already have one called upstairs, but we just created the home group upstairs. So when you tap on it, you can see the volume of all 3 speakers. You can normally see what song is playing and the name of the group, of course. As you can see, I've got a couple of them set up. So sometimes when we play music, we want to play it downstairs, we want to play it upstairs, or want to play it in the attic. This really only makes sense when you have a couple of devices, but for now I just set it up because it can. I also have the upstairs and there are 2 devices in. So those are the speaker groups. As you can see, I got all my rooms with all the devices set up. So as you also can see, you get visual feedback on the studio speaker. Currently there is music playing. I can just pause it also via this screen or resume. As you can see, I got power plugs, I got lights. So, but first let's go to the last setting. So this is the setting of your home. So not the Google Home app, but actually the home you're currently in. So as you could see, we could create multiple homes. So this is the setting of that one home that I'm using. So I nicknamed my home. I didn't know what else to call it. My home members, so myself and 2 others. The linked media accounts is the exact same as you just saw with the Spotify and the Netflix, YouTube and the Google Photos account. And you can briefly see the rooms, groups and devices. So as you can see, it's a whole list. So Studio has 9 devices. When we go in it, we can rename the room and you can see all the devices. So for instance, you can go into a device and then you can set up the home or change the room or even unlink to a smart home. But we won't be doing this. So those were the settings. Now we can briefly go through this list. So as you can see the lights and the power plugs, you can see the TVs, the Google Home. But there was recently added a new feature. So if we go into Studio Lights, it's now connected. There is a new button, it's called Color. So when we tap on this, actually in the studio I don't have RGB lamps, I only have those with the cold warm white spectrum. So I can change those, so from warm white to candlelight for instance. So it will change all lights that are compatible. You can also tap on 7 lights and you can control them individually. So when we go to desk light, that's the one that can change color. So we can give it an ivory color or the candlelight. As you can see here, we can also change the brightness. It will take up to a second or 2, 3 before it executes it really, but that depends on your Wi-Fi network or the cables or everything. I'm currently connected to the Wi-Fi. If you're only connected to the cellular network, then it will take some more time. But that's basically it for controlling the lights. So now we finally covered the whole first tab of the app. This is really everything you need to know. The other tabs you won't really be using. It's nice to have a look around, but this is everything you need. This can replace your Trust Smart Home app. This can replace every app you use if you use multiple. If you only use Philips Hue, it still need to use the Philips Hue app, but you can also use the Google Home app if you have set up like Chromecasts or different routines. So this is it. Then we go briefly through the other tabs, but This is the Discover tab. Now you can see also what is playing. You can see the new home member is added and what kind of commands you can give. So for the timer, pause timer, set a timer, we'll just give you some information. The same exact as for this one. This is also the Discover tab, but as you see, there is not much on it. And the last one, that's for your Google account. So it's the Google account combined with the Google Home app. So I see I have 12 local devices that are connected to my Wi-Fi. And I can see all the settings from my current account. So here, for the others that you want to see what version I used, it's 294016. That's the current version I'm using today. And that's basically it. So that was my tour throughout the Google Home app. If you have some questions, please put them down below in the comments. If you want to give this video a like, if you really liked it, then please do so. If you want to stay updated, I will be testing some more smart home stuff, revisit maybe some videos, then make sure you subscribe and we'll see you back in another video. Okay, bye.
McDonald.